Hello and welcome to my channel. I hope you're doing well. This is my 2023 setup of my new bullet journal. It's going to be really simple because I like to be able to change things as I go along. And first things first is cleaning out my pencil case. Right now it is stuffed so full that I can barely close it, so I'm trying to clear it out of all the extra stuff. And honestly, this is even my extra pencil case. It's not the one that I carry with me. It just has the extra things: spare pencils, spare fountain pens, spare scissors, pencil sharpeners, silicone grease, pipettes, because I fill my own fountain pens. And as it turns out, there was not a lot of extra stuff in there after all, so I ended up keeping pretty much all of it and just stuffing it back in, which is fine. And here's my actual journal. I chose a Stylogy 365 for this year, which is a really big change for me. The past 5 or 6 years I've used a Leuchtturm 1917, and I absolutely love everything about them, except for the fact that they only have 240 pages, and that's really not enough pages for me. I use my bullet journal for pretty much everything. It's a planner and a sketchbook and an actual proper journal, and I write down ideas for stories and novels, and I just end up using up a lot of paper. This past year, 2022, I have ended up using every single page. Like right now, today, I'm on the very last page for my dailies. And that's not a big deal in reality. Like, the world is not running out of paper. I could add more in the back. I could get another notebook, whatever. But I really prefer to keep one notebook per year, so it makes me feel really constricted. And I feel like I have to be careful. And for me, that is the opposite of allowing myself the ability to be creative. I really need to feel like I have that space. So I'm switching to a Stylogy just because it has more pages. And it doesn't seem like it's a huge difference. Like, they're both dot grid A5 notebooks, but I'm a little nervous about it anyway, to be honest with you. And this is the cover page, and I carved all of these stamps myself. I carved them out of linoleum, which is an art practice that I do. And I did the entire alphabet, and it wasn't until I had printed them that I realized that I'd forgotten to mirror the image. So all 26 letters, plus all the punctuation marks, are all backwards, and I can't use any of them. So what I'm doing right now instead is using them. I'm using them to mark out my motto for this year, which is fail more and fail better, because creativity is, it's just, it's always going to be a learning process. It's always going to be something that you try to improve, and mistakes are part of that. I have to be more comfortable with it, and it's really difficult for me to do that, so we're trying. And I say we, but I'm clearly just talking about myself. This is a laminated sheet that I laminated myself, and I cut it down to fit, and I added a little piece of washi tape as a roller there. And I just tape it down in the back to act as an envelope. It's really simple and it works really well, so not a whole lot to say about that, except that I ended up messing up several times, but I'm trying to tape it down because that's just how it goes. And now you can see why I chose my motto for the year. Absolutely. Oh geez, it's so messy. These are washi stickers from Jet Pens, and aren't they so pretty? I don't actually like carrying around washi like on a roll, so what I do is just separate the stickers from the roll itself, and I put them in the very back cover of my planner, which, because they're all individual stickers taped on top of each other, it works out easiest if you take them from the inside out. So I have to kind of pull out the center of the roll and then pull the stickers out from the inside. It only takes a minute. I actually use a sticker every day because I write down the word count of whatever story or novel or whatever I'm working on. A lot of people end up using graphs for that sort of thing, but I find for me that it makes me get hung up on the sheer amount of words instead of, finishing the story or finishing the plot outline or finishing whatever I'm working on. I can't really focus on the art and creativity part of it. This makes me sound really pompous, but it's true that when I worry about the word count, then it's like a way to distract myself from actually getting the proper work done. So for me, my writing works better for me when I focus on doing it every day. So the sticker is just a cheerful little reminder that I did it that day. I'm on the right path, I'm doing the right thing. And my bullet journal is all in plain black ink, so it stands out really well. This is my Calendex in the front pages, which I fast forwarded through because my Calendex is exactly like everybody else's Calendex, except for this year I decided that it would be a great idea to include the days of the week in addition to the dates, and that was not a good idea. It was a lot of work and it was very stupid. Please don't do this. Learn from my mistakes. So my Calendex is only for timed events like appointments and birthdays. I've tried writing down chores on there, like on Wednesday I need to change the sheets, and I learned that the best way to make sure that I do not do something is to write that task down on a particular day. That's just how my brain works. I'm very ornery. I also write the occasional life event on there. Like last year was really busy. We sold a house, we bought a house, we moved across the country. My neighbors had a fire that affected us. Everybody got up fine, although obviously that was really dramatic. There were children born into the family and people passed away. There were hurricanes. It was a really busy year. It's been a busy couple of months, actually, and it can be really difficult to remember exactly what happened when, so I write it down. And I would really appreciate it if 2023 were a little bit more calm. I also write down my monthly and weekly or bi-weekly or quarterly tasks, which I try to do in that order, and stuff like, change the sheets or clean out the sinks or clean the bathroom or scrub the baseboards. I don't scrub my baseboards in actual fact, but that sort of thing. The things that you forget about if you don't actually write it down often all the time. Or I forget about it anyway. Maybe you were better than me about this. And this is setting up the collections. Collections go in the very back of the book. And I try not to set up too many of these ahead of time, so these are just the ones that I know I need and use every single year. I just put down a strip of black washi and get out a white gel pen and write down the header. The first thing is a wish list, because of course I want stuff, and that is the most important thing to keep track of. And on the facing page, to remind me that things cost money, I keep a list of everything that I bought, and that's not actually everything that I bought, it's just non-essential stuff. So I don't write down things like food and car repairs and I paid for the mortgage and everything like that. It's stuff that I didn't actually need to buy. So if I got new shoes to replace old shoes that wore out, then that would be an essential thing. If I just bought new shoes because I thought they were pretty, that would go on this list. New shoes or new washi tape, or if I want to go into a museum and I spend $20 to go and look at art. I don't really keep to a budget per se, because spending too much isn't really an issue for me. Like, I have other issues instead. I'm not bragging. That just is not one of my issues, but I just like to keep an eye on what I actually did spend. I also keep a list of books that I want to read and books that I have read. And this one is game codes for video games. At this particular moment, they're all for Castlevania games, because I play a lot of video games, but I'm really, really casual about it. it's my hobby. If I'm frustrated about it, I just stop playing. So I play a lot of them, but I'm not very good at it at all. My January setup is the real start of the planner. I developed my monthly setup over the last couple of years, and it's really simple and it's really functional, but it just works for me. One page, it's a 2-page spread, and one side has a calendex just for January and a list of things that I need to do that month. And the other side has a piece of art, and it takes up a lot of space, which is probably why I keep running out of space in my planners, but I find it really functional too. Like, it makes my planner something that's really nice to look at and something that I enjoy using, instead of it just being this millstone of tasks around my neck that I never want to look at because it's just this heavy burden. These are my quarterly goals for the first quarter, just a couple goals in a couple different areas of my life, and just different things that I want to achieve, and that's it, really. It's not very complex, it's not real fancy. Like I said, I try to keep it really plain, and I don't set up too much beforehand. My dailies and weeklies are the place where all the fanciness comes out, or the mess, however you want to put it. And then I also have, I finally printed a art piece actually for the January setup. And it's just one of the first pieces of linoleum that I ever made, and the print quality is really bad, but I still like it. So thanks for watching, and welcome to the new year, and let's try to have a better 2023.